Hi, I'm CJ Peterson.
And I'm Mombierella.
We're here at Conroe and Lonestar Convention Center with Peter Kelamis.
Hi.
And he's going to take a few minutes to talk with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What are you best known for?
Probably the two biggest things, especially related to voice, are the voice of Goku in Dragon Ball Z and the voice of Rolf from Ed, Edd n Eddy. Those are probably the two biggest things.
Can you give us a sample of both?
For some reason, one line of Goku that I keep repeating that always kind of made me laugh was, "That Tubble Lord was a good warm-up." I don't know why.
That's cute.
Makes me smile. And then with Rolf, there's a million of them, but my favorite Rolf line was,
"Do not burn the candle at both ends, as it leads to the life of a hairdresser."
I don't even know what that means. I don't know what it means. Don't become a hairdresser is the lesson there, because it's bad. I don't quite know why. I've met many nice hairdressers, but apparently it's a deviant lifestyle of some kind. I don't know why you shouldn't become a hairdresser. I think it's a fine occupation.
There you go.
So how long have you done voice acting?
Like the third grade, and where I used to get in a lot of trouble at school and like kicked out of class. I was one of those. I was scared I wouldn't quite get kicked out of class because I had a Greek dad, and you never wanted to get kicked out of class and have the principal call your Greek father. Never.
So you knew where that line was?
Oh, I knew where the line was. I was just before that line. But I would imitate other people, other students, teachers, imitations of other comedians off of TV. Like I was doing Richard Nixon impressions in grade 4 and I had no idea. Even the kids in the schoolyard were like, "What are you doing?"
Were you watching, what was that show, Growing Pains?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It was his idol. I grew up,
I forgot about that.
Yeah. I used to grow up like watching like Rich Little, Cara Burnett, and
I love Cara Burnett.
Cara Burnett was the best
Every
because
night.
at the end she would take questions from the crowd, and a lot of times she would do her impressions, the Tarzan yell, whatever it was, and Tim Conway on the show I thought was so funny, and so I always loved all the characters that I grew up watching.
Has there been a role that you really, like, down in your core wanted and you didn't get?
Many, especially like film stuff.
Okay.
There's been a lot of things along the way. Some things.
Not that I want to promote you.
No. There was one. I don't know if you remember the movie Watchmen.
Okay.
Zack Snyder directed it, and it was based on a graphic novel. And I auditioned, and they wanted me to audition for Richard Nixon, of all things.
Oh, so you said you're good at it.
Well, as a kid I was, but then I studied it because you had to really become the character. So I studied it for a good week or 10 days, and getting the cadence and the, even the stand, physicality, and it's like, the United States does not start wars. And
That was
so
good.
there was numerous speeches he had to do, and I studied really hard, and I went in, and Zack Snyder was in the room with all these people, and I did the audition, and he's like, that's great. And he nods all the way around the room because, have you done prosthetics before? Yeah. So it's all sounding great. Are you available in September? Yes, this is all sounding great. And then it just kept going and going and going, and then I didn't hear anything, and then I called my agent. I said, "What's going on with this?" And he checked and came back, and he said, they went to the studio, they had a meeting, and somebody at the big table said, "Well, Richard Nixon is an American icon. We should get an American to play it." And I was Canadian. And I was like, so I didn't get the part. It was for this really weird reason. But I mean, Frank Langella had played him before. Anthony Hopkins, and a great English actor, played Nixon quite well. But for some reason, I didn't get it.
So what's next for you?
There's a movie coming out soon called American Dreamer with Peter Dinklage and Shirley MacLaine, and I'm in that. And then I'm in the upcoming season of Ninjago, and currently on the Dragon Prince on Netflix, and Beat Bugs on Netflix, and Angry Birds on Netflix. On Dragon Prince, I play Velas, the pirate who has 2 eye patches.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that show. Have you seen that one?
No.
Pirate,
Oh, it's a great
he has
one.
2 eye patches, and he gets asked about it in the show.
How is that?
And they're like, "How is that
a thing?
And he's like, "How did you lose your eye?" And he goes, "Well, the sheeple attacked me from my right." And he goes, "Well, how did you lose the other eye?" "Well, the other one came at me from my left." So
How is that? Oh my god.
So actually, I love that show because it kind of reminds me of The Last Airbender, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, it's
But
a
not
really-
that
it's a
person.
really neat
It
show.
has like some of the voice actors from in there.
I believe so. believe so.
Yeah, it's got that kind of feel to it, though. That's
Yeah.
a fun show.
It's a really fun show.
Do you have any funny stories from your time of voice acting or something that you share?
One funny one was when I was voicing Goku. First, I had a call time of, I forget what time of the day it was like 2 in the afternoon, and then they called it like 11. They said, can you come in at noon instead? I was like, oh, okay. Well, I was running around town, and I had my dog with me, and I'm like, well, I got to bring my dog in. So I brought my dog in, and he was a rescue, so he's, you know, a little separation anxiety. I said, well, I'm just going to bring him in the studio, he'll lay down. And they're like, sure. So we're doing the thing, I'm doing all the Goku stuff and all that, and there was at one point where I became like Super Saiyan, and I was like, ah! And I let out this big wild scream, and all of a sudden you hear, and I wish I had a recording of it, just because it was just a natural, he saw things getting heightened, and he just fired out this big wolf bark. And I was like, he's good, I'll take it out and post.
How can people find you online?
You know what? Instagram is just at Peter Kelamis, as it is with Twitter at Peter Kelamis. I have a website secured, but I am still working on building it. One of these things that you keep putting off, and you're like, I should get to this. I should, but I haven't. But you can find me on those 2 platforms. That's where I'm most active.
Awesome. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
And enjoy the rest of your weekend.
I will.
And guys, make sure to come on down to Comic Conroe, the Lonestar Convention Center in Conroe, Texas. I got it right.
We're here all weekend, so come on out. Saturday and Sunday's coming up.
And we'll have more interviews throughout the weekend.
See you there.
Bye.